So hello guys, welcome to the second part of the video. That we'll be doing was the web integration of the Razorpay payment gateway. So with the payment.ejs setup, the front end is done, the template is done. Now the thing which is left is the backend that we need to write the APIs and the instance. So the first thing we'll be doing is first configuring the .env, that, and make use of the express server. So with that done, let's create an instance. This instance will be used in instantiating an order for the Razorpay. The things which we'll be needing in creating an instance will be the key ID that we stored in the environment variable. We can refer to it as process.env dot key ID and the key secret. You can refer to it as process.env dot key secret. So with that done, we have created an instance, but first we need to require the Razorpay npm package here. Require Razorpay. Okay, with that done, I'm still getting an error. Okay, there was a typo. The instance is created. Now we can write the middlewares like app.use course, app.use express.json, and using the body parser app.use body parser. And to avoid all those warnings that we get if we don't put in this URL encoded extended false, you have to put it, otherwise you will get an error. That done, body parser URL encoded extended false. I think we are good to go. So the body parser, and setting the view engine to EJS, so that we don't need to every time specify the extension whenever we are referring to a template using the get route. So we will simply set the view engine to EJS. The first route will be the get route to actually render the template. So we'll be writing app.get slash payments. Try to use these arrow function as often as you can, because it's a good practice to use these arrow functions. It's part of the ES6 syntax. What we need to render is the payment.ejs file. We don't need to specify the extension, and we have to pass in the key from the backend to the front end, so that we don't need to actually write the key in the code. We can simply write the variable there. process dot env dot key id. Okay, now the main part comes is the post request. The first post request is to create the order, and actually I will write all the post requests first and then I will give you the explanation of it. So I have written both the post request, that is to the payment order, that will create the order, instantiate the order and receive the order ID from the Razorpay server. And the second one that will verify the signature and will send a response whether the signatures were successfully verified or not. So that done, let's walk through the whole code again. First, we required some packages. The packages we used: express.env, cause, body parser, crypto, Razorpay. We configure the .env. The things that we configured, the things that we have written in the .env files are the key ID and the key secret that we'll be needing while instantiating the Razorpay instance. To create this instance, we need a key ID and the key secret that we can refer to it as process.env.keyid and key secret. Here we have actually made use of the Express server to start the app. We wrote some middlewares here to make use of the cross-origin resource sharing, the body parser, and then we set the view engine to EJS so that we don't need to write the extension everywhere we refer to a template. So with that done, we set up the routes. The first route is the get route to actually render this template which we wrote in the first video. To actually render this template, this HTML file, which is not actually HTML, it's EJS, but yeah, it's pretty HTML only. But with that done, we wrote these two post requests. The post request, the first one is to this URL /order. This post URL, this post request is going to first collect the params from the request.body that we are sending from right here. These things, the amount, currency, receipt, these things will capture here and will call a method instance.orders.create, and in that will pass it the params that we collected from the payment.ejs. And this thing right here is a promise. So this promise will either get resolved or get rejected. So on successful resolution of this promise, we can call in the dot then method, which will fire once the promise is successfully resolved. So it will send the data and a status message to the front end. So this data is actually the order ID which we received from the server that we can refer to in the front end, and we actually did right here: document.getElement.value res.sub.id. Here we are referring to the order ID that we received from the Razorpay server. So that done, we also wrote a catch method that if the promise gets rejected, we should be able to catch the error and will be able to display it. So this is the first post request to the API/payment/order to instantiate the order and receive the order ID. With that done, we need to then create a checkout form with the help of the order ID we received, create a checkout form out of that, and then send it to the Razorpay server. And once that is done, the Razorpay sends us the three credentials that are the Razorpay order ID, Razorpay signature, and the Razorpay key. So the post request here will verify the signature. So this post request was handled by this XML HTTP request where we sent these data, that are order ID, payment ID, and signature, these three credentials, to verify the signature. So we actually fetch the data from the front end, and in the body we embed it. the Razorpay order ID or Razorpay payment ID. Both will be good, any one of them. So now what we'll be doing is comparing the expected signature with the actual Razorpay signature that we got. So while comparing this, we need to send this expected signature in the payment flow. So we have to encode it so that it is secure. So with the help of crypto npm package that we installed, we use a SHA-256 algorithm, which is the encoding algorithm, and we encode our key secret and update the body. And these are some methods that come in with the crypto dot create hmac update and the digest, and then digest the hexadecimal code, the hex code. So with that done, the body is updated, and now we can refer to it and we can actually compare it with the expected signature. So right here I have written two console.log statements so that while actually running this server, we will be able to look at the request.body.razorpay signature and the expected signature right here, and we can manually compare it, although we don't need to, but still. Here in the response, the status failure if the signatures aren't successfully verified. But if the expected signature is equal to the request.body.razorpay signature, then we need to send the response as success to the front end that we received right here. We received either success or failure. Okay, with that done, let's actually start the server. Save both the files and do node app.js. We got an error because, okay, there's a space. Require body parser right here. Okay, wait a minute. I'm getting this error. Okay, sorry for that. Now we will be good to go. Now let's do node.js. But okay, we haven't wrote the listen part yet. App.listen. We need to make it listen to a port, the server, the local host that we will be running this on. So once this successfully launches, the server successfully launches, this function will print a message which can be server started, right? Like this. You can write in whatever you want. Okay, with that done, let's do it now. Okay, so the server is successfully started. Now let's, what was the thing? Payment. Okay, not payments, it was payment. Cannot get slash payment. Okay, I think I started a payment. It was payment.ejs. Oh, I forgot to require the ejs. Require ejs. Oh, I need to install it first. And I don't need to install it. So I don't need to require it right here. Just installing it will be fine. That done. That's node app.js. And so this is the thing that we created. Although I'm not sure why the okay. we need another line right here after the order ID. We can do it right here. Let's create a chart tag and that will be good. Okay, so now let's create an order. So let's take an amount of 300 rupees. So 300 rupees in passes will be 300 into 100. Two more zeros. So with that done, let's create an order. Now this thing will be automatically populated, but it didn't happen. Not sure why. Okay, so by looking at the console, I found out that we are getting this error because I have done a typo somewhere in the payments file in the line number 25. JSON dot, I forgot to write n there. Right here, stringify, and let's see. Yeah, it is written fine. Now we'll be good to go. Let's test it out. Now let's write in the amount 300 multiplied by 100, create the order, and here we got the order ID. Now let's create a checkout form. Now by clicking it, we are making a checkout form out of this order ID and sending it to the Razorpay server with the help of the Razorpay Razorpay instance that we created right here. So by clicking on checkout, okay, so we again ran into an error that the Razorpay is not defined because we missed the a very important step, and that is embedding the script, the checkout script for the Node.js, which is this script source with this URL, and we are gonna embed it just before this script, because here is the thing that we need to do in order to send the checkout form to the Razorpay server. That done, let's again start the server, refresh it, enter the amount 300 multiplied by 100, create an order, got the order ID, send the checkout form. Here, this theme is set by us because this is the shade of blue that I selected when I wrote the theme part. So with that done, you can put in any number, as this one is running on the test mode, so you don't need to worry. Your thing is safe with this. You can put it in the actual email if you want. Do a card payment, put in card number, anything you want, 4111, because this is in test mode, it doesn't matter. JSON CVV123, pay rupees 300. So it will load a test mode page right here. It's a demo page. Click on success, and now these three fields need to be filled, but there is a error. Cannot set property value of null at line number 45. So I rectified the error that we got in the last part. Actually, we were getting that error because I forgot to change the ID of these two input statements. These were written order ID or as well, these two. So please change it to order pay ID and order signature SIG. So with that done, let's now we are not getting any warning or anything that can be problematic. So now let's do a payment of 400 rupees. So 400 multiplied by 100, create an order. Here we got the order ID, checkout, put in the details, the email, proceed, select the card, put in the card number whatever you want, because this is running on the test mode. JSON CVV123, pay rupees 400. This is the demo bank page. Once you click the success button, the Razorpay server will give you the order ID, payment ID, and the order signature. Now till this step. Let's head back to the dashboard and refresh it. Now, as you can see right here, the payment is captured. Now we can verify it, and there we got the message success. So let's head back to the Visual Studio Code, and right here in the console, ignore the upper two outputs because these were done by me previously. These two are the console.log that we did right here in the app.js. This is the upper one is the Razorpay signature, and the second one is the expected signature. As you can see that both are same. So with that done, we are done with the Razorpay payment gateway, and you can expect a Razorpay payment gateway integration in the mobile application using Flutter, also using Dart in future. So thank you for watching.